Hello, welcome back to the Kayfabe Brigade. We are still talking about the G1 Climax. We're going to be covering day 7 through 10. Starting with A block, this was September 30th.
Yeah, so this was the second show in Korakuen Hall. So we'll start with Suzuki versus Yujiro as the opener. This was not a terrible brawl.
Sure.
I would actually say this is probably the second best Yujiro match of the tournament so far.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the Osprey match and the Suzuki match has so far been the only Yujiro matches that I've not been bored to tears by.
Yeah,
it helps
right.
that just Suzuki's just such a fun striker.
I can watch him all day.
Yeah.
He might be my favorite guy in the tournament right now.
Yeah,
I like the cut of his jib.
He's consistently putting in good work, even if it's even against opponents that aren't able to bring it as much. And he's 50 years old. What is anyone else's excuse really? So this match was it was saved by Suzuki's stiff shots, but there's not a whole lot to say about this one.
The announcers were kind of just putting Suzuki over the whole time.
There's not much else to say except another good showing for Suzuki at this point. That's pretty much it.
Yeah,
it was fine.
It was short. It was less than 8 minutes, 7 minutes 53 seconds. Yujiro is still winless at this point.
Yeah, Suzuki wins with his God's pile driver as he has been for most of the tournament.
And at this point, Suzuki stood at 6 points.
Yeah.
Yujiro with 0.
So the next matchup is Ibushi versus Cobb. This is actually the first time that they've wrestled, I believe, period. So
Okay.
So this was a pretty interesting matchup. What was most surprising about this match, I would say, is how much Cobb took of this match.
Yeah, Ibushi was tentative, seemed like. And Cobb, it was, especially early on, he was overpowering him, especially with the mat work.
Yeah.
And just dominating. Oh, it was easily 3 minutes without any strikes in the beginning.
Yeah.
It was a lot of mat work.
I think Cobb's getting over with the crowd, too.
They love him, yeah.
Yeah, which is great to see. There are some gaijin that come in that they don't love as much. I don't think they love him as much as they do someone like Juice, just because Cobb lacks that kind of charisma.
Yeah. But he doesn't really play to the crowd much or anything like that.
Yeah.
But,
he's just fun to watch,
he's
though.
Just
And
so
that's why anyone loves them. So yeah, this match was about showing that Cobb can match Ibushi's striking, and he really... They clearly were trying to show that he has the power advantage over Ibushi at this point. It's just so interesting to see him dominate a match against someone that once Ibushi got signed, it was sort of like he's really high up in the New Japan hierarchy.
Yeah.
To see him sort of dominate against someone who is so important to New Japan at this point, it was kind of surreal to see.
Yeah.
Cobb takes most of this match. Ibushi really only came back towards the end, and this was when he fought out of the Tour of the Islands and hit him with a V-trigger and then a Kamigoye, and then instantly took it at that point.
Yeah. Right, he went for the Kamigoye, and Cobb reversed it, and then he hit him with the knee, and then he got the Kamigoye, and then it was done.
Yeah. So I thought this was an awesome match.
It was, I wrote awesome as well.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. That finish was amazing. And it was lean, too, 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
A little bit over. A strong loss for Cobb.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's how you put somebody over while still beating them.
Yeah, he looked great. He looked great.
Yeah.
So match 3 is Okada versus Taichi. Okada at 4 points coming into this match. Taichi at 6. Taichi the block leader.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty obvious that Taichi wasn't going to get to 8, but that didn't really remove anything from the drama of this match, which was a very well-told story here. Before we get into the match, though, I do want to say, because we haven't mentioned it before, Taichi's lip-syncing.
Oh, God.
It's been talked about numerous times, but it is terrible.
So, if you aren't familiar, he comes into a theme song that it's supposed to be him singing it.
Yeah, he literally walks down the ring with a mic stand that is very clearly not plugged into anything.
Not plugged in,
not
turned on. It's not where, it's a dead mic.
Yeah.
Like a prop. It might even be a prop, literally be a prop mic. It's probably just a mic that's not turned on, but it's clear that so he acts like he's singing along. It's terrible lip syncing.
Yeah, the camera gets close to his face and you can clearly tell that sometimes his mouth isn't even open. Or if it is, it's like, I don't understand how he's had this theme song for years and he still doesn't know the lyrics to it. Or it's part of it, maybe.
Yeah, it seemed like at one point the mic he even had the mic down at his side while there was words being said.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's a joke at this point. Who knows? Yeah, the storytelling in this match was awesome. Taichi's immediately going after Okada's back.
Yeah. It's sort of
from the beginning.
It's sort of like the cat is out of the bag. Everyone knows in the G1 knows that Okada's back.
Right.
Yeah. I think the best part of this match was probably just how Okada is working with that back injury. Like, he's selling that back pretty much throughout. The best part, this is the key to why Okada is such a like borderline perfect pro wrestler, is that he makes you believe that every move has to hit, and if it doesn't, he's taking a penalty. When he misses a drop kick, he's landing on his back and he's selling that back.
And it hurts. Yeah. So not only was the back kick, the drop kick not maybe effective, or less effective than it would have been if he could have put everything into it, something like that. It seemed like he's kind of learning how to set up for the money clip better a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't have as much of a problem. Yeah. I didn't have as much of a problem with the money clip.
It looks better too. He's done some adjustments to it. I feel like it's a little different, but it's
well. He does some very interesting things with the money clip.
It's tighter. I don't know.
Yeah, it is tighter. Taichi looked amazing in this match.
Yeah, I think this might have been maybe his best match to this point.
Yeah,
I thought he looked great.
He hasn't done it yet, but he's still sort of teasing that he might return to the Rainmaker. There's a spot where he tries to go in the money clip, and Taichi just kind of scoots out of it because Okada starts getting choked out by Taichi.
Right.
And then he does the backslide. He backslides him into a short Rainmaker, which he's done before. And then he does the thing where he grabs his hand, but he's done this a couple times in the G1 so far, where he gets the arm lock ready for the full Rainmaker. But every time he does that, something happens and it leads to him not getting it. In this match, it was Taichi blocking him with the ref and then low blowing. But the moment was there.
Yeah, it seems like the old Okada is kind of sneaking back in and figuring out how to use the new stuff. I don't know. It's interesting to watch.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of subtle stuff, match to match, changing.
Yeah. He is telling, regardless of what the G1's overall story is, whatever that story is,
sure, yeah,
Okada is telling a story
right.
just in his matches. Like, you could watch just Okada's matches and get a pretty compelling, so far at least, narrative with just him. The finish sequence was a money clip sequence, but it was actually, I thought it was pretty good. He puts him in the money clip and Taichi's like trying to squirt him out, but Taichi kind of gets control of momentum and about to reach the ropes, and then Okada does like a backbreaker thing.
Yeah.
Like he backbreaks him on his neck, and I thought that was like a really fun sort of iteration on how to use the money clip and how to get control back. So I was like, you know what, that is like commitment, sort of. That like shows me that like Okada is committed to this money clip and is gonna use, outside of kayfabe, is trying to think of ways to make this interesting for the viewer.
Right, and it's a little bit at a time. It's not like some ridiculous leap. It's gonna happen all at once or something. It's evolving. I don't know. It's interesting to watch.
Yeah.
Nobody else is doing anything quite so subtle, I don't think.
So the next match is Jay White versus Osprey. The last time they faced off, it was the anniversary show where Will Osprey was the junior champ.
Okay.
And Jay White was the heavyweight champ. Every year they have those champions wrestle.
Okay.
But that seemed like an unwinnable match for Will Osprey because he was still technically a junior. This is before they did the heavyweight push. He was going into this match. They're playing up his power. The dynamic was definitely different.
He looks so much bigger than Jay.
He does, and that wasn't necessarily the case.
Yeah.
When they last.
Because Jay is real lean.
He's got a lot.
Super lean.
Yeah.
And Will's bulky, and that was interesting. I didn't think there would be such a size difference, at least visibly. I don't know what the weight difference is, but he looks a lot bigger.
To me, it seems like this G1 tournament, Will Ospreay's arc is like they're screaming at us. Will is a heavyweight.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Jay spends a lot of this match going after Ospreay's neck. He dumps him over the top rope with a nasty neck bump. He does a half and half suplex over.
Oh, right.
That was awful looking.
Oh, yeah, that was scary.
He's not only going after the neck, but he's also going after Ospreay's legs because it's sort of like that's the sort of holdover from Ospreay's junior days, is that he's still doing his flips, he's still running across the ring. So
right.
He's trying to slow him down.
Sure.
Osprey gets a lot of complaints about his inability to sell in the match, but I actually thought he sold his left leg pretty well throughout the match.
It
seemed like
consistent.
It seemed like he was trying to like actually work with it. Like, his heavyweight matches have not been as spot heavy. There's certainly lots of spots, but like, it's nothing like the Will Ospreay Ricochet match from Best of Super Juniors that everyone likes to complain about, where it was basically an acrobatic showcase.
Okay.
I really enjoyed that match, but like
right.
that's sort of like the old Will Ospreay. Like I believe, I think at this point, he's added power and psychology to his wrestling game. There's a lot of fun innovation in this match between both guys. There's a moment where Osprey goes for the Os Cutter, and Jay White just sort of like gets him in a flatliner immediately and just like rams him into the mat. And then there's another great point where they're doing a top rope struggle, and Osprey gets out of it, and instead of like going down and like power bombing him or anything, he just stays on the top rope, jumps back, and drop kicks him in the back.
Oh yeah!
That was he's like hanging in the air. It's like the momentum that you would need for that is insane.
It felt like anything could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was anybody's. It really felt like anybody's match.
Right.
It made this finishing stretch like really compelling. I also would like to give credit to Jay White for what was a very smart ref bump. We've complained in previous episodes.
Oh yes.
We've complained in previous episodes about Red Shoes taking bumps and it looking like kind of meh. But Jay wraps his ankles around Red Shoes' legs and sort of like trips him. So he's not like actually incapacitated, but he's down for long enough to do an interference spot.
And he's able to fall slowly enough because he just kind of rolls his leg back over and then he just kind of like stumbles forward and falls down.
Yeah.
It's not like a nasty flat back bump or anything like that. So yeah, it's much more believable looking bump.
Yeah. So Osprey takes this match with a pretty insane reversal sequence at the end, as you can expect with any Jay White match. He hits him into it with a rolling elbow, which I love that he's... I noticed this earlier in a couple matches, the addition of the rolling elbow. I love that he's maintaining it. So the rolling elbow, into the hidden blade, into the Stormbreaker.
Match went 1846.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
This night and also the next night we're going to talk about was a lot about catching up, people catching up to make the field more competitive.
Yeah, because it was a little bit too decisive prior to this day.
Yeah.
He had one guy out on top, kind of, in both blocks. Or two guys, I guess, were tied in each block for the lead at this point.
And it wasn't necessarily the people that you'd think were going to win, but now there's a whole bunch of people at 6 ending this night.
Exactly,
and it seems like it could be anyone's game at this point.
You have to field at 6 or above.
So we finished the night with Ishii versus Shingo.
Slugfest, and that's the only word of notes I have written down.
Ishii is maybe the best G1 wrestler, and Shingo is just one of the funnest wrestlers in general to watch. You just know going in this match that they're going to be stiff and they're going to be throwing forearms. Ishii starts throwing forearms into Shingo's throat, and Shingo starts throwing his forearms into Ishii's throat. I will say I think that the first half of this match wasn't really iterative on their encounters. Like it's the usual stiff exchanges, palm strikes, all that stuff. But the second half is when it really kicked in.
Yeah.
Shingo does a pop up Death Valley driver. He does a sliding lariat to the back of Ishii's head, which was, they just really seemed like they were trying to kill each other. It was a very honest...
I hope they like each other, man.
You're right, yeah.
Wow.
You got it. Yeah. If you trust your...
Because otherwise it was just potato after potato after potato.
Oh, yeah. There was a legitimately, scary headbutt battle in this match, too.
Yeah. Man, just to show you what pros they are, because it seems like they never have, CTE and stuff like that. You know what I mean? At least not really. Over here.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do some of this stuff, though. The headbutts always look so bad.
Yeah.
And I know that they know what they're doing, but man.
Shingo really takes a lot of this match. But I will say that towards the end, Ishii starts pulling out some pretty crazy stuff. He does a tornado DDT.
Yeah.
I don't know. He might have done that before, but that's just not the kind of thing you ever see.
Obviously, I haven't seen him do it.
Yeah. This match almost goes to the limit.
Yeah, it was over 26 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, long match.
Ishii finally gets his comeback within the final 5 minutes. The storyline for him has been he's got to get that brainbuster.
Yes.
He does finally land the brainbuster in this match. It was similar to the Ibushi match and how volatile it was. And which is ironic considering both this and the Ibushi match, the Ishii-Ibushi match, ends with them fighting on the mat after the match. What's funny is a match this good, they end the night, Tomohiro Ishii's got 2 points, Shingo's got 2 points.
Yeah, two and two.
At this point, they're honestly...
I can't believe that this is Ishii's first win.
Yeah, it's really wild. That's why Ishii is a different beast.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of times he can lose and the amount of times that fans still get behind him, it's crazy.
He for me, it's him and Suzuki have been my two favorite to watch, just because
Yeah.
I had probably the least exposure to them, other than some of the people that I had never heard of.
Right.
Like I'd seen Will Osprey matches and JY matches and stuff. Those two guys just blow me away, and their match together is still one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Of the tournament.
Oh yeah. All right, so we move on to the next B block day. This is day 8. So this starts with Toru Yano versus Juice Robinson, which was very entertaining for me at least.
It was, sure, yeah.
Juice
And blessedly short.
It was.
I mean, appropriately short. I won't say blessedly short. It was fine.
It was about 6 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
6.5 minutes or so.
But this match really helped because of how vocal Juice was.
Mm-hmm.
Juice is yelling at him.
Very vocal, yeah.
He's yelling like no BS. He's playing along too because Rihanna brings a shirt for him and is like, oh, it's okay, just wear this with me. And then of course there's the whole they're vamping on the build up and then he puts the shirt on and then Yano immediately schoolboys him.
Yeah. It's coming. It's like Lucy in the football.
Yeah.
You're just waiting for her to take it away. He's going to attack him as soon as the damn thing's on, but it's just great. Oh man, there was a lot of bits packed into 6 minutes. The sanitizer in the eyes.
Yep. I think that the finishing stretch of this match was even more impressive than Yano's blindfolded stunt.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. Yeah, because it was much longer.
It was.
He had to deal with it for much longer.
Yeah. So
the tape made a return.
Yeah, the tape made his triumphant return in a move that almost won Yano the match.
Yeah.
Juice and Yano are outside and Yano is able to wrap the tape around both of Juice's ankles, and he's sort of hopping to the ring. He's hopping back to the ring. What was kind of funny is he got in there with 17 seconds, like out of the 20 count. So he had 3 seconds left. I think he kind of stood there when he was standing up, and it was sort of like I bet Juice was sort of like, I don't know how I'm gonna make this last 20 seconds. Like I'm gonna get to the ring before the count. I don't know how I can make this a close count, which is fine.
Because you can't risk falling down at the last minute and then not making it in if the count's too close also on that one-legged thing, because you could accidentally mess it up.
Yeah. Juice gets back in the ring and doesn't immediately take the tape off. Instead, he starts hopping around, flailing his arms,
one-legged wrestling.
Yeah, he legitimately is wrestling with his tape,
just pogoing
his legs taped together. He actually manages to, while his legs are taped up, manages to get one of his sort of his Uranagi bomb sort of moves off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably not the hardest move to do because he's still standing when he's doing it. But doing any wrestling move without your full momentum on your legs is pretty crazy.
And again, with the opportunity of botching something or messing up, it's it's more impressive.
Yeah.
I hate when I like this stuff. I don't really though. It's funny. I love NJPW comedy. It works even without the crowd being able to laugh, which is not true with a lot of Western comedy. I don't know why that difference is, but the comedy seems to work here more than it does in other promotions. I don't know why.
I don't know. It's because I don't even know if I can say it's broad, but it's broad enough that it can happen across language.
Sure, it is physical. Yeah, that's true. It is physical. You would laugh at it even if you don't have English commentators telling you what's going on.
Yeah.
It's just physical comedy. It could be a silent movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's the key.
That's probably it, yeah.
So Juice does end up slipping out of the tape, and then after that, he goes for the pulp friction. Yano does his ref interference to get out of it. He tries to roll up, but Juice just sits on it.
Yeah.
Yano just goes for a roll up, and Juice just kind of sits down on it.
Yep.
So Juice gets the win there, and as he's sort of walking back to the crowd, he just yells, "You can't BS a BSer."
He was great. He was funny the whole time.
Yeah. So match 2 is Hiroki Goto versus Zack Sabre Jr.
Getting completely owned by Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah,
basically.
It's not really
for 4 minutes, almost exactly.
Yeah, there's not really a whole lot to say about this, except Zack just sort of goes after Goto's shoulder and just immediately wins with it. He gets him in a European leg clutch hold and pins him super quickly.
Yeah.
I like it. I like Zack Sabre Jr. getting strong, decisive wins.
Well, there was something in the call that they said maybe Goto had tried to use signature moves too early or something. And obviously in a 3-minute, barely 4-minute match, that probably would be the case. But yeah, I didn't hate this. I mean, it made sense. Nice quick story.
Yeah. Match 3 is Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Yoshihashi. Tanahashi doesn't necessarily feel like a finalist in this G1.
No.
But this match is still kind of dramaless.
It's too much Yoshihashi.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I'll get this out of the way before we get to the last Yoshihashi match that we'll talk about. He's been better this year. He has.
Wow.
He has. This is...
Okay. Fair enough.
He has been better.
Fair enough,
this
buddy.
year.
Good job.
But my brain's...
You did better.
My brain's instinct whenever I see Yoshihashi is still to fall asleep. He's just not a fun wrestler to watch. I can fairly say he is technically a good wrestler. He can do moves, and he can be intense for the crowd. The crowd loves this Yoshihashi push. The crowd is consistently very hot for these Yoshihashi
Yeah,
pushes.
I don't get it, man. Feels like he's being booked by someone different than all the rest of the G1.
It's weird. It's every Yoshihashi G1 match is telling the exact same story, which is, hey guys, I know you guys don't think Yoshihashi is much to invest in, but he can hang with the big boys. It's like the same story every
But you only
time.
need that match once.
You really
not
do.
over and over.
Yeah, it's in, and he's not winning these matches.
No, right,
he's
right,
only
right,
won
right.
one match at this point.
Yeah.
But it's still sort of like, do you really need him going almost 20 minutes or even over 20 minutes every match in the G1?
Yeah.
Like,
No, thank you.
the base of the problem is that peak Yoshihashi is pretty good. He's never gonna have he's never gonna have the sort of moment that Lance Archer had, where Lance Archer is a tag guy for years in New Japan, and they've tried him out as singles, and no one really cares a whole lot. But then they give him one chance, he blows everyone away,
Yeah.
mass acclaim, and Lance Archer is someone I actively seek matches out for.
Sure.
I just don't think that's gonna happen to Yoshihashi ever.
No way. I don't see
He
that.
doesn't have that pull. And I don't think he's capable of having that pull. Props to everybody. I'm happy for you if you love Yoshihashi, but I just don't have. I just at this point it's just
Sure. I mean, it's harmless. It's
long.
whatever. It's pro wrestling. It's not hurting anybody.
Yeah, no.
But
Yeah.
my goodness, I already feel like I've talked about Yoshihashi for too long.
Yeah. When you tell the same story for a Yoshihashi match every time the same way.
That's why it's getting so boring. Yeah. And you just have the commentary just put him over a little bit. It's just like, come on, Rocky, quit talking about how awesome he is.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we've buried Yoshihashi enough.
For every single one of Yoshihashi's G1 matches this year, it's the most epic match of his career. And for his opponents, it's Tuesday.
That's so accurate. Exactly. I mean, it's Tanahashi. Come on.
So the next match
Battle
is...
of the all caps.
Yes, this is the Battle of the All Caps. Yeah, this is Kinta versus Evil. Bullet Club versus Bullet Club.
Yeah. It's like a power struggle story.
Yeah, I liked the story.
Yeah.
The match wasn't amazing, but
No.
I love this. I like that they're actually approaching this Bullet Club story that I think that they should be doing.
Sure.
Kinta was, he's not a gaijin, but he was with the gaijin. He was in the U.S. when they reopened, and he hadn't been back, and he was on the USA show. So at this point, Kenta's status in the Bullet Club is linked with Jay White's
Sure. Yeah.
sort of status in the Bullet Club.
Right.
So no one really knew going into this match where that stood, and I think that it became pretty apparent as the match went on. The match begins with a 2-sweet, and they actually tease Evil and Dick Togo tease doing the 2-sweet with Kenta, and then at the last moment, they just completely leave him out and do the 2-sweets by themselves. Another thought I had going into this match is, who the hell is the crowd gonna cheer?
Right.
Because they hate Evil, and they also don't like Kenta enough. They've never liked Kenta. They still haven't liked Kenta enough to want to cheer.
To want to cheer for him.
Yeah.
That's funny.
The bulk of the story of this match is Kenta seemingly trying to convince Dick Togo to be on his side. I guess convert him over to him.
Yeah.
This doesn't really ever work.
No. Come on.
Yeah.
Break.
Evil's doing his typical heel moves, using the chair and using chairs and moving turnbuckle pads.
I've come to like this Evil guy.
Yeah.
A little bit. He's fun to watch.
Yeah, I think he's become removed from the sort of shotgunning of him, his title reign. He's far removed enough that I can just enjoy his sort of antics now.
Yeah, that seems to have not been super popular, but
Yeah.
That's fine. Moving along, man.
Yeah, basically, it's like it doesn't last.
Right.
Just enjoy where he's at right now.
Yeah.
Because if they really do tell this Bullet Club story, it's going to be really interesting.
Sure. Yeah, man. There's a lot of interference and stuff, but I mean, where I thought I would tire of it, it all seems to be so purposeful now that I don't really, it all makes sense to me when it happens now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Around the midpoint of the match, Kinta does use his briefcase to take out Dick Togo on the outside. He sort of gives up on trying to convince him. But I thought that was a nice way for the moment to book around having a member of the Bullet Club spend the whole match interfering with another Bullet Club member. And even by that point, Kinta starts out shenaniganizing Evil at that point, where he's sort of all of Evil's tricks aren't really working.
Yeah.
And the crowd actually starts to get into it. I don't know if I can officially say that they start cheering for Kinta.
Sure.
But, the match becomes enjoyable for them at least.
Yeah.
The match ends with Dick Togo finally getting physically involved, getting into the ring, Kinta putting him in the go-to-sleep position. Mm. But then while he's up there, Dick Togo bumps the ref, Evil low blows, hits his everything is Evil move, and he wins. Yeah. The commentary, Rocky made sure to note that Jay White and Gedo were probably watching this match and that Bullet Club may be fracturing at this point.
Sure.
Which I thought that was great, and he does end up following up on that in the next B-Block day.
Yes. So
the story is being told. I love when a G1 is not just great matches, but there's also factional and personal stories being told for all these wrestlers.
Yeah, man. That's good. That's important in pro wrestling. I mean, it's, otherwise you just watch clips of people doing backflips.
Yeah. That's the one misconception I think everyone has with New Japan is that they're the pure pro wrestling company.
Right.
But they, yes, if you just want to go and watch contextless 5-star matches from New Japan, you can do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they reward you from your investment in following all of this.
It's slow burn storytelling.
Yeah.
It's not it's he books 2 years in advance or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's really thought out, subtle stuff, but you just gotta look for it.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to learn it a little bit with this company, which has been the best boon for watching the G1 for me.
Mm. So we finish this night with Naito versus Sonata. This is the match that I thought would go to a draw. I like this match. Mm-hmm. It wasn't
paced well.
It wasn't the best, but Sonata's sort of pacing is sort of worked out. The beginning of this match was really compelling at the start because Sonata and Naito know each other so well. They've been in the same faction for years, so Sonata can counter Naito's sort of fake out taunt that he does at the beginning of every match, and it all makes complete sense that they know each other that well. The crowd gets really into it. A lot of classic main event build up here. Mm-hmm. Captivating if expected, but that's a main event for you in New Japan.
Yeah, it is. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every time, man. You just do the stuff really well.
Yeah,
it's paced so well. They're selling Sonata's stinger that he took a while back or something. Talking about how his arm and his fingers tingle like they're on fire or something. Yeah, didn't seem like it. They talked about it earlier, but it didn't seem like it really turned into a whole lot.
I think that's just. They've mentioned that before.
Is that just more of athletic presentation kind of thing?
Well, no, I think he actually does have a stinger.
Oh, it's real.
I just don't think...
I see.
I think it's just something that he has to live with.
It's real. Okay, I got you.
And I don't think they ever really played up in terms of selling it or anything.
Right.
I think it's just something that he deals with.
He gets it. Yeah. Okay, makes sense.
Because they mentioned that. I remember them mentioning that last year, but it never played into the context of the match.
I see.
A lot of my issues with Sonata, which is his skull-in setup being boring, is actually kind of subverted in this match because... Naito is able to get out of the skull end a lot, so Sonata has to come up with new ways to get him into his finishing sort of setup. Yeah. There's lots of... I thought the best part of this match was how much good strategy there seemed to be at play with both guys. They're both... It's interesting, they both have to go after the neck and shoulder. They both weaken the neck and shoulder of their opponents to set up their own finishers. Going into sort of the reversals and them having each other scouted, there was a great reversal sequence that ended with Naito hitting sort of a half Destino and then trying for another regular Destino, but Sonata turning it into his TKO neckbreaker sort of thing. It went a lot. The pacing was great. It was a lot faster than I thought. There was a lot of compelling reversal sequences. So then the last 5 minutes arrive and you get into your typical finisher battle that all the main events have. Sonata's reversing into a Destino. That was cool, Sonata doing a Destino. That pretty much seals it, because then Sonata hits 2 very good moonsaults, completely bypasses the skull in by the end, which I thought was a neat sort of thing. Yeah. Sort of, which is good, because I don't love the skull end. Sonata being able to win a match with those Muda moonsaults was nice. And then he pins Naito.
Yeah.
27 minutes.
Naito picks up his first loss.
Yeah. So,
and Sonata his first win.
Sonata his first win, yeah.
Another potential draw that was foiled.
Yeah, they teased it. They keep teasing it. This one didn't go that way. This will probably be is a very good second actual title defense somewhere along the way, because these guys have great chemistry. I would love to see another match with actual stakes.
Right.
We'll probably get that at some point over the course of the build to Wrestle Kingdom. We move on to day 9 of the G1. This is the back to Block A. We open with Yujiro versus Shingo. This was a funny match because there's literally a cricket in the venue.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It was, I think it might have even been into the next match too. But there's somewhere in the venue was a cricket, and when we finally figured out that it was not in our house, we realized it was in the venue.
Yeah. So
it does disappear about halfway through the show, but that was funny.
That was honestly, for the most part, more entertaining than yet another Yujiro opener.
Yes, actually the crickets were very apropos for this first match.
It was, yeah. It had
you almost feel like people shuffling in their seats.
Yeah, it had a little poetic irony to it. The problem with this match is that Shingo's intensity is really good, but I noticed something. Yujiro is like too slow.
Oh yes, yeah. You mentioned that. It's very true. And Shingo kept having to slow himself down to match the slower pace. Yeah,
which ended up making.
He's a pro. He did it. He made it work. But that's no good. He needs to be able to do his stuff at the proper pace and things like that.
It was like he probably shouldn't have done it. He probably needed to for safety reasons to not be out of step with him.
Yeah.
But it ultimately kind of made Shingo look a little bad.
I see what you mean. Yeah, that makes sense.
That's pretty much.
They're not gonna explain. He's got to slow down, but
Yeah, no.
So you just have
that would bury Yujiro.
So it's just got to kind of deal with the consequences, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only noteworthy thing to say about this match. Shingo
Yujiro pulled out his pimp stick at one point, and Shingo lariated the pimp stick.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
That was the only thing I wrote down.
That was very good. That was.
I was just like, oh my god, and that's just like, this is how much he disrespects him. He just knocks it out. It's so funny.
Yeah, Shingo is reliable as sort of the no nonsense.
Get that thing out of my face.
Yeah. Surprising nobody, Shingo wins this match. Match 2 of the night, we have Jay White versus Jeff Cobb. Going into it, I was sort of just looking for a solid match here. There's not a whole lot of storyline to this matchup. Every Cobb match sort of starts with the mat work at the beginning.
Right, yeah.
And Jay White just tries to double leg take down an Olympian. And it does not go well.
No, man. What are you doing, dude? Yeah. And if they were shooting at all, like, Cobb was just all over him. It was just like, get me out of this. Yeah. I can't do it.
So then Jay has to switch up his tactics here.
Yeah.
He starts playing the mental game. He stops his momentum for the ropes during a drop down segment. Your typical, drop down jump sort of thing that they always do at the beginning of the match. But he stops his momentum and then just runs over and slaps Cobb in the face.
Slap right in the face. I wrote face slap.
Yeah. So there's something interesting going on with the crowd in this match. I'm not sure if they're starting to actually like Jay White now, or if they're just just decided to play along, because they will when Jay White starts doing the blocking, clapping, they'll start clapping.
They have started clapping when he does it. Yeah.
Maybe it's like, well, you're not evil, so
you're not evil.
We'll do it. We'll do it for you. We'll play along. Another thing I love, Jay White, just a great wrestler. A lot of his moves involve lifting. He has the Uranagis. And stuff. And when he does that, after he does the move, he starts selling his back because, of course, he's a strong guy. I'm not, he might not actually have that much difficulty lifting Jeff Cobb, but I just love, if it's not shoot, him doing that is a great. It gets Cobb over too.
Right.
Jay White, is using Ghetto like he usually does to do interference spots, but it just does not work on Cobb. In the finishing stretch, he ends up hitting like 3 tours of the islands at the end after they get Ghetto out of the way. Cobb wins. I thought that was great. I thought that's exactly how you book an upset. You get Jay White sort of like taunting him and sort of like winning in the mind game, sort of seeming like Cobb's getting got to, but that just makes you root for Cobb even more, and that's why the drama hits so well when Cobb is able to overcome it. So I thought that was great.
Another strong A-block match.
Yeah, which is
Surprise,
pretty
surprise.
typical,
Yeah.
especially with the last 3 matches of this night. So match 3 is Minoru Suzuki versus Okada.
Yes, it is.
Kevin Kelly begins by setting up the fact that they've had lots of draws.
Mm-hmm.
Hearing that, I don't think that telegraphed anything, because I don't think a match in the middle of a card that's not a main event card was going to go to a draw.
Right.
It seems pretty
That would
reserved
be
for a
insane
main
to
event
do.
spot.
Yeah.
So that didn't really play into it for me.
No.
This was mainly, as this is the story of most of this night, this was a night of catch-ups. This was a night of people getting points and people stopping other people's momentum.
Yeah.
Just to get everyone back on the board. It was still a competitive match, but it seemed clear to me that Okada was going to win here and get some more points.
Seemed like Suzuki tried the gotch too early.
Yeah.
And it seemed like we had been talking about how like there's like it's sort of like a vocal story that even the wrestlers are taking advantage of Okada's backstory, which Suzuki definitely seemed to do.
So the other thing is Suzuki is going after the arm, honestly, for most of this match.
Yeah.
It works twofold, because not only would taking out Okada's arm neutralize the Rainmaker that he's not using, the underutilized Rainmaker, but also the overutilized Money Clip.
Yeah, the overutilized.
Both of those require a strong arm, either for a lariat or for locking in a submission. So Okada gets his momentum back when Suzuki goes for the gotch too early. It's almost he's like overzealous at that point.
Yeah.
And at that point, Okada's able to get, because he's got his back hurting, so he needs the momentum of that to just get him into the neck breaker.
Yeah.
So Okada gets his momentum back with the neck breaker. There were a lot of gasps in this match. The crowd was very vocal for this match.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like we were talking about before, sometimes you just can't help it. There was a lot of that in this match, yeah.
Another great spot when Okada goes for the money clip too early is Suzuki just sort of wriggles out of it and immediately gets an armbar lock. So
yeah.
I just love that. It makes complete sense for someone so specialized in submissions to be able to just wriggle out of it and take advantage of positioning and stuff like that. So I love that. Suzuki's great at stuff like that.
For sure.
The majority of the storyline is that Okada can't get that money clip on Suzuki.
Right.
In fact, the way he has to win is he actually has to do a flash pin.
Yeah, it sort of lucked into a pin almost.
Yeah. It was like Okada realized, this is again telling the story of like maybe there's a chance that Okada will sort of wake himself up from his sort of over reliance on the money clip. I can't. This match is unwinnable with the money clip. I have to pin him. Like I have to do a flash pin. I have to outsmart him like that.
Right.
So that's how Okada wins. The storyline remains compelling. I just love Okada's G1 work.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah, it's great. It's been a nice turnaround. Since it's such a great storytelling. In the early days, it was a little bit worrisome that maybe there was something actually wrong. But the fact that there's an overarching story here is really good.
Yeah.
He's pulling it off to perfection.
Yeah. So the next match is Ishii versus Taichi. I always earmark these guys' matchups. They always beat each other to hell. And this one was no different.
Ishii just seemed he was kind of over it with Taichi.
Yeah.
He was kind of sick of it.
Yeah. They've wrestled a lot. There's a great part where Taichi does his pants coming off.
Yeah.
And Ishii, it feels like Ishii got personally offended.
He's not into it at all, man. He hated it. There's the point where he's taunting Taichi, and they're like, he said some bad words in there. We can't, he was saying things so filthy they couldn't translate it.
Yeah.
He just was not a fan at all.
Yeah. I thought another story in this match was that Ishii's head was invincible. It's like Taichi keeps kicking it. He ends up, he gets kicked. He started no-selling some of Taichi's head kicks.
Yeah.
Which is nasty, because Taichi's kicks are great.
Yeah.
And he just starts no-selling them. And then Taichi loses the edge at one point, and he starts relying on the ref. He starts relying on putting the ref in his path. He starts relying on low blows.
Yeah.
It doesn't work on Ishii though. And Ishii kind of relies on head-based offense at that point. He keeps headbutting them.
Oh, at one point there was the nastiest headbutt ever.
Yeah. The finishing stretch of this match was kind of insane, kind of nutty. The first thing that happens is that Taichi kicks out at 1.
Right.
In an Ishii match. Ishii's like the kick out of 1 guy.
Taichi was great here.
Yeah. And then there was the moment where Taichi goes for a kick and Ishii just
he punched his kick.
Yeah.
He punches his kick. I don't know what else to say.
It is as simple as that.
That's what he did.
That is what happened.
I just said he punched his kick. I can't believe he just punched his kick.
Yeah.
I drew squiggly lines underneath of it. Just hilarious. They're still telling that he has to hit the Brainbuster story here.
Yeah. And
he has to land it.
He does.
And he does.
Yeah. Ishii wins this match with a Brainbuster. So we finish the night with Ibushi versus Osprey. And this was sort of the classic matchup that started it all. Last Wrestle Kingdom. Not the Wrestle Kingdom that just happened, but the 2019 Wrestle Kingdom. That was sort of Osprey's build to his ascent as a heavyweight.
Okay.
They had a never open weight match. That was the match where Ibushi got concussed.
Oh right, okay. I think I remember hearing about that.
And everyone
when it happened, but
everyone
I wasn't watching.
Yeah, everyone blamed it on Osprey's hidden blade move.
Okay.
I believe it turned out to not be that.
Okay.
But that was when he just introduced the hidden blade move.
I see. Will seemed too cocky.
He
seemed underprepared. He was rushing moves.
Yeah, he was sort of like taking this match for like a given.
Yeah.
He was posing. He would rustle Ibushi's hair against the ropes, and
that was weird. What was he doing?
It did not pay off because Ibushi immediately goes for the Kamigoye. Like I want to say, 2 minutes into the match.
Yeah.
When Osprey does his taunt, he's not playing. Ibushi is not here for the shenanigans.
Right. No, he's in serious mode.
This was sort of like the fun way to sort of showcase Will Ospreay's change as a character.
Yeah. They
do a sort of repeat of the sort of legendary top rope spot that happened in the build-up to Wrestle Kingdom. It was Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega versus Tanahashi and Osprey. And this was the match that was gift everywhere that happened, where Ibushi Hurricane Rana's Osprey off the top rope. Osprey flips, and the camera shows him standing like this, and Ibushi looking back in disbelief that he did that. But they repeat this here, but instead of Osprey coming down looking like a badass, he's like woo, he's lands, he's acting all cocky and he doesn't land it as perfectly. He lands it sort of
it's sloppy.
It's sloppy, but I don't know if that's what he intended.
But fuck it.
But if it wasn't what he intended, he leaned into it, playing into his sort of cocky.
I'm gonna just use it. Yeah.
Ibushi hits a scary German suplex to Osprey at one point. And even less than 15 minutes in, Ibushi hits the Bomaye. So at that point, I was like, oh, is this match gonna go the distance? I don't know. They're already starting to hit their moves. I honestly thought this match was gonna go, but
they only had about a minute left at that point.
This is a pretty short main event.
Yeah.
It went 15 minutes, almost 16 minutes. So Osprey's eyeing the hidden blade. They want to end it quick. It's so clear that they're battling really quickly. Will Osprey goes for the Os Cutter towards the end of the match, and Ibushi hits him with a V-trigger to the back of the head, while he's coming back off of it. Just
nasty.
Immediately hits the Kamigoye, nasty and quick.
Awesome
Ibushi
finish.
wins.
Yeah,
great
awesome
finish.
On to day 10. B block. Not gonna be a long talk here, folks.
Yeah, this wasn't.
I got about 15 words of notes across the whole thing.
This was not a blowaway day.
No, probably the worst day yet.
Yeah.
Of the G1.
We start with Goto versus Yano. This was 18 seconds.
Yeah. Fastest G1 match ever, in fact, they said.
Yeah, it was. It was the shortest G1 match they've ever had. The whole match was Yano throws a shirt at Goto, Goto throws it back, and flash pins Yano.
Yeah.
That was it.
Done.
No offensive moves, just
18 seconds. They just wanted to have the fastest match ever in G1.
That's probably what it was.
They just
Goto versus Yano. We're really looking forward to this match.
Do we really need to book this thing out? We don't need an agent on this. Let's just do 18 seconds.
Yeah.
Bring the shirt out. He's just trying to get people to wear Yano's shirts so we can screw him over.
Yeah. It is fun to see Yano's tactics not work at all on anybody. Because he usually gets the one flash pin on somebody, the one roll up, but nope, not in this one. It's just over.
Yeah.
It was entertaining in that regard, but there's really not much to say. So next we have Sonata versus Zack Sabre Jr. This is always a fun matchup. I think this is one of the better matchups between two people. They have a lot of great chemistry.
It's a good back and forth for sure, yeah.
Their submission styles really mesh, and they usually make for an entertaining matchup. Some great pinning exchanges to start. Zack's cockiness is starting to catch up to him a little bit in this match, though.
He's kind of throwing hissy fits when things don't go his way a little bit in this match. Just kicking, and I don't know, it's funny.
The sort of the one story that had been happening in Zack and Sonata matches is that when Zack tries to pin him, Sonata is able to do the reversal pin that involves him sort of like leaning back over him.
Right. Oh, yeah. He arches his back.
Yeah, he arches his back. That's gotten Zack at least 2 times, I believe, in their matchups.
Okay.
It seems like Zack finally got the answer to that. He's able to counter out of this thing that is always been the bane of his matches against Sonata. Sonata still kicks out, though. That's not the finish of the match.
Right.
Zack does a skull end at one point, and I couldn't help but think that it looks so much better than Sonata's skull end.
That's funny.
The finisher was Sonata flipping Zack Sabre Jr. onto the ropes.
Yeah.
And then, like, gets him into Nigel McGuinness's Tower of London. He hits that, and then he immediately hits the moonsault, and that's it. Sonata is not using the skull end as much in his finishing sequences.
Right.
I hope this continues to be a thing, because he has a great moonsault.
Yeah, he does.
And I love him finding new ways to get his opponents on the ground that don't involve just choking him out with a bad looking dragon sleeper. Mm-hmm. So I'm into that. So the next match is Evil versus Juice. I would honestly say the most interesting thing about this match is Kevin Kelly in the beginning telling us about Jay White. Jay White talking some mad trash about Evil's match with Kinta.
Yeah.
He's very clearly upset.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there's going to be a rift. I think Jay White feels like he's the leader of Bullet Club. Evil obviously feels like he's the leader of Bullet Club.
Sure.
They're now back. They're not going to meet in this G1, but there is contention there.
Right.
And I think they're going to they might end up redoing the Bullet Club split storyline. And I don't think the last time when the Elite was part of the Bullet Club and they did the split there, I don't think that storyline ever actually came to a close.
Right.
So, like, I guess this is their chance to do that again and sort of, like, actually have a final outcome.
Be able to take it to a conclusion.
Yeah, they'll be able to actually end it the way they want to and branch off from there, you know. I have no issue...
I mean, it's a great story, so I'm all for that.
I have no issue with Jay White and his sort of group being like a tweener version of Bullet Club. I don't think they'll ever be faces, but Jay White has the potential to get a crowd on his side.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's just charming enough.
Yeah.
He could pull back the smug a little bit and make it, you know, be a straight-up tweener easy.
Yeah. The one thing that helped this match is just the crowd liking Juice so much. A lot of the Evil matches have had opponents that the crowd doesn't really care enough. Zack Sabre Jr. was the exception. The crowd, for some reason, really got into Zack Sabre Jr., as well as Yano. But they just love Juice, so at least the crowd was lively during this match.
Right.
I don't think they had the best chemistry, though.
No.
So this was kind of weak. I thought the finish was very weak, actually.
Yeah.
The finisher was basically just a low blow while Dick Togo was on the ropes.
A lot of interference, too.
A lot of interference. Yeah. This was more like a typical
G1
Evil match. Evil hits his everything is evil move on a low blowed Juice and wins.
Right.
This is, you know. Oh. The next match we have.
we're gonna just probably not say much at all.
Yeah,
but.
I don't have a whole lot to say about this. Naito versus Yoshihashi. I'll say one thing. Yoshihashi is G1 fatigue.
Man, there has never been a truer thing said, and oh my goodness, this match was 25 minutes long. It was. I just wrote, I hate this match. Forever long. I hate this match.
Yoshihashi is not.
Good for Naito for letting this guy have a 25-minute match with him, I guess. But my goodness,
crowd's into it. Good for them. Naito went to the disc.
Sure, man, have it. I don't care.
If you love Yoshihashi, I got the match for you. 25 minutes of straight Yoshihashi. We finished with Tanahashi versus Kinta. I believe the last time they had this match, Kinta was not a member of Bullet Club yet. So he's revisiting this match now as a full-on heel, which is always great because Tanahashi is the babyfaciest of babyfaces.
Oh yeah, I wrote capital B babyface and capital H heel. They were both doing great work here.
Yeah, especially with Kinta doing his sort of like jeering at the crowd thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost like Tanahashi was running to the crowd's defense. Like whenever Kinta would jeer at it, Tanahashi would run and like.
Those are my people.
Yeah, exactly. It was great. I love when they play up stuff like that. Tanahashi is, you know, the crowd loves him. They've always loved him. He's always been a babyface. Like. Yeah,
that's one of those guys. It's just he can't be a heel. Yeah. There's no way.
Kenta's going after that knee, the legendarily damaged knee of Tanahashi. There was a great moment. They're on the apron and they're battling on the apron, and Kinta jumps down onto the mat, onto the floor outside, and dragon screws Tanahashi off the apron onto the floor outside. It was
so nasty,
kind of scary. Like that was crazy.
Yeah.
Kenta's just
sketchy looking.
He's hyper focused on this knee this whole match.
Mm-hmm. I love his limb work.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
He's doing dragon screws. He's doing the figure fours. Like he's really going after Tana's knee. His game plan is on point.
Yeah.
In a similar way that it was almost to its max amount of on point in the Zack Sabre Jr. match, where like that whole match was psychology between two people. Mm-hmm. He's got a great strategy here. There was another pretty inventive ref bump too. Tanahashi, there's like a weird kerfuffle. Tanahashi ends up on top of Red Shoes, sort of laying on him, and then Kinta decides to go up on top rope and just basically jump on him.
Yep.
He just bounces right off.
Just crush him.
Yeah, that must have honestly that bump probably hurt for Red Shoes.
That's probably the worst one to take on yet.
Finishing sequence was fun. Kenta's going for the go to sleep. Tanahashi counters it into the twist and shout. He ends up hitting like 3 twist and shouts, and then in a surprise move, instead of going for the high fly flow, Tana decides to flip Kenta's leg work. He had subtly started using dragon screws on Kinta as well. Yeah. And Tanahashi puts him in a Texas cloverleaf. And Kinta ends up tapping. I believe there's been some pass outs in this G1. I believe the first actual tap submission.
I did not expect that at all.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was a great finish. Great story with Tana's leg work proving to be superior over Kinta's leg work. I thought that was a fun little element to it. Not like the best main event, but still told a great story between two people who are really good in the ring together. And that's really all you wanted in a night that was otherwise pretty underwhelming. Yeah. So, to say the least.
Yeah. Alright, so if you're watching a video about the G1, you know that the G1 is already over. And we didn't want to be talking about the G1 in November still. So we are going to, in our wrap-up episode for the G1, we are going to review the 2 best reviewed shows coming up, which is nights 13 and 17. They're both A-block nights. And then we will, of course, cover the final. So that will be in the next episode.
So post G1, what you can expect out of this podcast is sort of whatever, anything to do with wrestling. We're gonna try and do our own sort of thing. One of the ideas that we talk about is maybe reviewing the Cage Fighter movie, the John Moxley movie.
I think we'll do that one for sure. We'll talk about Cage Fighter. We're watching AEW. We're watching Impact and everybody. I don't know if we're going to do a weekly review show, but we're going to figure out a way to talk about everything that we can. Yeah. And we'll probably have a couple videos a week going forward. We won't do anything quite as rigorous as the G1 for a little while, but it's going to be stuff, lots of fun stuff.
We want to make sure we're getting content out to you guys on a regular basis.
Absolutely.
So, we'll gear that towards discussion points that are relevant, but also just stuff that'll be fun to talk about.
Yeah, and in the future, we'll probably have some interviews with some local indie wrestlers, things like that. Stay tuned. Yeah. Hit the like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get all of our videos come to you. And we'll be here next time. Thanks.
See you next time.
See ya. Bye.